Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Bill. We're going to be in the Starfinder score rulebook for this video today. We are doing spells for the Mystic. We're starting the spell series for just reviewing the spells for the classes. I'll do the 0 level spells for the Mystic for this video, and we'll just do the spells by level for each class and each level, of course. So we have the Mystic, and then we have the Technomancer, which would be the other one. And I'll try to just jump between the classes, so that way if you're interested in playing this, you won't have to wait for a long time to see the 0 level and 1st level spells, since those would be the first you would need access to. I'll give my opinions on the spells as I read them. If there's any that are super interesting, I'll comment on them. If I think of anything useful on how to use them beyond what it says, I'll let you know as well. So, the Mystic spells. We are looking at Daze. Daze affects a humanoid creature of a challenge rating 3 or lower. Detect Affliction. Determine whether a creature or object has been poisoned, is diseased, is cursed, or is suffering a similar effect. So let's start by actually looking these up instead of me just reading their list. So Daze. We'll start with Daze. So I need to flip over here and find Daze. And I want to read these spells because they might be worded differently than anything I'm familiar with out of D&D or Pathfinder. Or their effects might be different. Daze, it's an enchantment. Its range is medium. It's 100 feet plus 10 feet per caster level. So the minimum 1st level, it's 110 feet. Targets one living creature of challenge rating 5 or lower. Nope, I'm on the wrong one. I'm on Daze Monster. Daze itself, it's close range, 25 feet plus 5 feet per level, or per 2 levels. So at 1st level, it's 25 feet. At 2nd level, it'd be 30 feet. Targets one humanoid creature of challenge rating 3 or lower. Duration is 1 round. Saving throw will negates. Spell resistance does apply. If the creature has spell resistance, you have to make your check to get past the spell resistance for the creature to then have to make it save. This spell short circuits the mind of a humanoid creature with a challenge rating of 3 or lower, so that it is dazed, unable to take actions, but taking no penalty to AC. So note that for sure, like it just won't act, but its AC stays the same because it's still able to react to you. It just can't act against you in that sense. Humanoids of challenge rating 4 or higher are not affected. After a creature has been dazed by this spell, it's immune to it for 1 minute. So for 10 rounds after it's affected by this spell, it's immune to it. The immunity thing, I don't know that I'd leave in there if I was running the game. I might get rid of that immunity. But then again, if this is like Pathfinder, you can cast the 0 level spells an infinite number of times. The immunity might need to be there. But in, say, 3rd edition D&D, you had, at 1st level, you would have 3 0 level spells that you could cast once. So that there's kind of give or take there. Detect Affliction is the next one that I read. Excuse me. Okay. School's Divination, casting time 1 standard action, range close, 25 feet plus 5 feet per 2 level. Targets 1 creature or object. Duration instantaneous. Saving throw none. Spell resistance yes. Harmless. You determine whether a creature or object has been poisoned, is diseased, is cursed, or is suffering a similar affliction. If the target is poisoned or diseased, you automatically detect that fact and can determine the exact type of poison or disease with a successful DC 20 intelligence or wisdom check. If you are trained in life science or medicine, depending on the nature of the poison or disease, you can attempt a DC 20 check of that skill if you fail your wisdom or intelligence check. If the target is cursed or is suffering from a similar affliction, you must succeed at a DC 20 intelligence or wisdom check to determine that fact. You can then determine the exact nature of the curse with a successful DC 25 mysticism check. Now, the first one were disease and poison, DC 20 for the intelligence or wisdom. And then you get a second check, same DC, with the life science or medicine. I would say if both are applicable, the ability check and the skill check, I would give you a bonus on the skill check or a bonus on the ability check, +2. Wouldn't have to be crazy, just I'd give you a bonus because both were applicable. I don't know why they need to differentiate it and keep the DC the same. Detect magic. Detect spells and magic items within 60 feet, which should function like all D&D detect magic. Area, cone-shaped, yep, that's the same. Duration, concentration, so as long as you focus on using the spell, you get the spell. And it can last up to 1 minute per level. So at first level, be 10 rounds. Saving throw, none. Spell resistance, no. You detect all magic spells, effects, items, and objects, including those on or affecting creatures you can see, as well as hybrid items in the area. You can't detect magical traps in this way, as they are created with additional magic that wards them from this common spell. So it's noted that you can't find magical traps in this. So I would stick with that when describing how detect magic works. Although you could do older magical traps that didn't have any warding versus this spell. So you could play with that a little bit. If you wanted to go into a really old ruin that was trapped, and creatures have made it, say, to level 1 or level 2 of the ruin, but level 3 and 4, because of the traps in the corridor at level 3, haven't made it past, but all the traps are magical, but weren't warded against the spell, your guys could see where the triggers are, where the traps are, and use that to their advantage when figuring out how to get around it and deeper into the dungeon. That's a really cool idea that I have. I need to make some notes after this video. Each round you concentrate on the same area. You can determine if the magic source you detect is from a spell, a magic item, or other effect, and the caster level, or the item level of the effect. You can't determine if there are magic sources in areas you can't see, or if there was a magic source in an area at one time, but that has since expired. So if there was like an active magical effect going on, but then it ended, you won't be able to determine that with this detect magic. Fatigue. Touched creature is fatigued. Doesn't sound very useful to me, but I could be wrong. Now, if it would affect, say, a barbarian's rage, I don't think there's a barbarian class in this, though. But if you were already fatigued and you do something else that fatigues you, you become exhausted. There it is, fatigue. It's a necromancy school spell. Casting times 1 standard action, range touch, target 1 creature, duration 1 round per level, saving throw, fortitude negates, spell resistance, yes. You make a melee attack against a single target's EAC, adding your key ability score modifier to the attack roll instead of your strength modifier if it's higher. The target must succeed at a fortitude save or be fatigued for the spell's duration. And its duration's 1 round per level. So you hit it on the round you cast the spell, and for at least a whole turn of it getting actions, at least for 1 turn it getting actions, it'll be under the effect of this. This spell has no effect on creatures that are already fatigued. Casting this spell doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity. Oh, that's interesting. Ghost sound. Create minor illusionary sounds. That's always a fun one if you're very creative in a game. It's a standard action to cast, close range 25 feet plus 5 feet per 2 levels. Effect is illusionary, sounds. Duration 1 round per level, so a round of sounds. Saving throw, will to disbelieve, spell resistance no. You create a volume of sound that rises, falls, recedes, approaches, or remains fixed. You choose what the type of sound this spell creates when casting it and cannot thereafter change the sound's basic character. The volume of the sound created can produce as much noise as 20 normal humans. Thus, you can create shouting, singing, talking, marching, running, walking sounds, as well as sounds of battle or small explosions. You can make noises that sound like machines, the general chatter of distant conversation, or the roar of an alien predator. But you can't make specific sounds such as an intelligible speech, or the exact hum of a particular starship's engine. Very interesting. I like the ideas there, and it's always useful to use when you're low level. I always recall using them when there's a couple of guards guarding like a doorway or a walkway area, and you can make the sound in the distance and get them to go that way while you go the other way. And you don't need a little pebble to make that noise when you use that spell. Grave words force a corpse to babble. Casting time 1 minute, so this is not one you would cast quickly. Target one dead creature. Range of touch, so you have to touch the dead creature. Duration 1 round. There's no saving throw and no spell resistance. You can force a touched corpse to talk to you, but you can't ask it specific questions or communicate with it at all. The corpse utters random sentences for 1 round. With a 10% chance this information is of some use to you. Useful information might include warnings about dangers in a wrecked ship, the password to unlock a computer, or the name of a supernatural creature seeking you or your allies. The GM makes the percentile roll in secret and decides what information, useful or not, the corpse spews out in its babbling. Once a corpse has been subjected to grave words by any caster, any new attempt to cast grave words on that corpse fails. A corpse must have a mouth or means to speak in order for this spell to function, and the spell doesn't affect a corpse that has been turned into an undead creature. That's good to know. Psychokinetic hand. Telekinetically moves an object of 1 bulk or less. Reminds me of the mage hand, the 5-pound telekinesis. Psychokinetic hand. Transmutation. Casting time 1 standard action. Close range 25 feet plus 5 feet per 2 levels. Target one unattended object of no more than 10 pounds or 1 bulk. Duration, concentration, no save, no spell resistance. You point your finger at the target object, gaining the ability to lift it and move it at will from a distance. As a move action, you can propel the object as far as 15 feet in any direction, though the spell ends if the distance between you and the object ever exceeds the spell's range. You can't perform complex operations such as firing a gun or using a computer, but you can shut a mechanical door or lid and work simple buttons to open or close automated doors or trigger an alarm. Also reminds me of using the force to pull a gun to you or a lightsaber. Stabilize causes a dying creature to stabilize. That one's pretty straightforward, but let's read it to see if it tells us anything else. One standard action, range is close, 25 feet plus 5 feet per 2 level. Target one living creature. Duration is instantaneous. Does not say you need to touch the creature, you just got to be close to him. Saving throw will negate it's harmless. Spell resistance, yes, it's harmless. If a target of this spell has 0 hit points and is dying, it automatically stabilizes. If the creature later takes damage, it is no longer stable. So pretty straightforward. Telekinetic projectile. Telekinetically hurl an object, dealing 1d6 damage to the target and object. One standard action to cast, so it would be your attack. Close, 25 feet, one object and one creature. You need the object to throw into the creature. Duration, instantaneous. Saving throw, none. Spell resistance, no. A flying object weighing up to 5 pounds, less than 1 bulk, at the target, making a ranged attack against the KAC. If you hit, you deal 1d6 bludgeoning damage to both the target and the object. The type of object thrown doesn't change the damage type or any other properties of the attack. I would allow them to also throw energy weapons that are on at enemies, and that would change the damage and the properties of the attack, because now you have this swinging blade of energy coming at them. And then they could cast another spell to pull it back to them. But that would be the only difference in that. You could, instead of doing the weapon damage, though, you could do this spell's damage as the weapon's type of damage. Or if you wanted to make it that powerful, you could allow it to do the weapon's type of damage plus this 1d6. Telepathic message. Send a short telepathic message and hear simple telepathic replies. Medium range. It's one standard action to cast. So the medium range is 100 feet plus 10 feet per level. Targets up to one creature per level. Duration 10 minutes per level, so 100 rounds per level. Saving throw, none. Spell resistance, no. You can send a short telepathic message and hear simple telepathic replies. Any living creature within 10 feet of you or an intended recipient also receives your telepathic message if it succeeds at a DC 25 perception check. You must be able to see or hear each recipient. The creatures that receive the message can reply telepathically, but no more than a single message can be sent each round, and each message cannot exceed 10 words. A technomancer casting this spell can also use it to send a message to a computer or a construct with the technological subtype if the receiving target is designed to receive messages. That's cool. Token spell. Perform simple magical effects. Reminds me of prestidigitation. Casting time 1 standard action, range 10 feet. Target effect or area, see the text. Duration 1 hour. Saving throw none, spell resistance yes. Token spells are often some of the first minor changes that spellcasters produce when they begin experimenting with magic. Once cast, token spell enables you to perform simple magical effects for 1 hour. The effects are minor and have severe limitations. You can slowly lift one item of light bulk You can alter items in a 1-foot cube each round, coloring, cleaning, soiling, cooling, warming, or flavoring them. You can create small objects, but they look artificial and are extremely fragile. In other words, they can't be used as tools or weapons. You can illuminate an object and shed dim light in a 30-foot radius. Token spell lacks the power to duplicate any other spell's effect. An actual change in an object beyond moving, cleaning, or soiling it persists for only 1 hour. So that's pretty cool. So it is like prestidigitation, except it can also make things glow, so it's kind of like the light spells combined in there from D&D. So that's all the 0 level spells. What was your favorite 0 level spell? What 0 level spells would you find the most useful in this game? Or what reminded you of what you had the most use out of in a previous unrelated fantasy game? Let me know in the comments below. Share this video if you and your players are interested in playing Starfinder. Until we all game again, guys.